Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you are all having a lovely Sunday. I'm gonna be transforming myself completely to a very glam look, and I'm gonna start by doing my brows, and I like to use my soap brows. I just spritz a little bit of setting spray in there to get it wet, and then I start combing through my brows to get them really spiky and fluffy. You don't have to specially use soap brows. I just like this because it's convenient and it comes in a little thin. And after that, I like to press my brows just to get them really pressed into the skin so they don't move. And you can just really see the difference right there. It's amazing. I really love doing this with my brows. It's the only way they will stay all day long. There's no brow gel for me that works the way that soap brows work. To fill in my brows, I like to use my ABH powder. I use the color Granite. I think that's how you pronounce it. I am gonna zoom you in so you can really see what I'm doing here. I like to use a really skinny eyebrow brush. This is a Zoeva 317, I think, and I just like to draw like little hair strokes through the brow just to fill them in. It's not gonna be really like define, just filling in any gaps that I have and making the inside of the brow a little bit longer, so bringing it in more towards my nose bridge. And I just do this until I am satisfied with how fluffy my brow looks. Then I like to carve them out with a little concealer. This one is from Kiko and it's a more like a cream concealer, and I like to use a painter's brush actually to do the carving, just because these are super thin and I can get really precise with these brushes. But yeah, this works really well for carving out the brow, but of course a flat concealer brush will do the same job. Once I'm happy with the carving, I just like to blend out that concealer with a fluffier brush just to create a softer look under the brow. I don't want this to be really harsh, but I do want the brow to be a little bit more defined. And the same concealer that I use under my brows, I am gonna apply on the inner corners and outer corners of my eye, just to cancel out any darkness that I might have there, because I am gonna be working with my eyeshadows first and then do my base. I still want to conceal my under eye darkness and inner corner darkness, just so that everything looks really flawless and beautiful. For my eyeshadow base, I am gonna use this one from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and you really need like a tiny bit of this eye base. You don't need much, and I am gonna blend that out with the same concealer brush that I used in the beginning. I really enjoy this eye base because it's really easy to blend, but it dries down a little bit matte, which I actually really enjoy. I don't like my eye base to be super wet, but I do want it to be a little bit tacky so my eyeshadows will apply really pigmented. Now for my eyeshadow palette, I chose this one from ABH again. I'm using a lot of ABH products, but I really love the brand and they create amazing products. And this one is the Norvina Volume 1 Pro Pigment Palette, and I'm gonna dive into like the yellows and the browns and that rusty burgundy shade and golden shade. And I first started out with the really bright yellow in the palette, and I'm using a Nikita Morphe brush. I will link the brushes down below. But at the beginning I was having a little bit of trouble applying this eyeshadow. As you can see, it was going on really pigmented on that outer part of the crease, but in the inner corner it was lacking a little bit of pigment. So I was really trying to build this shadow up for a long time, but eventually I think I really achieved that. I just really wanted this to be a really nice soft transition. And then I went into a more of a mustard yellow shade in the palette, which is such a beautiful shade, especially now for like any fall eyeshadow looks. And I started building this up in the crease and in the outer corner of the eye, and I tried pulling the shadow a little bit like in a winged out shape to give my eye a little bit of a lift. So I kept building the shade just a little bit under the first yellow shade to create a nice transition for my next color, which is gonna be like a deeper brown in the palette. And I'm using a tinier fluffy brush that is just a little bit more dense to really pack on that color, because I wanted this to be really vibrant and pigmented. I like to start on my outer corner and really start building up the product. So in tiny sessions, adding a bit more and going in a bit further into the crease. Now, I really enjoyed this palette. I think the colors are beautiful. I think the approach that I took by first going in with a transition shade and then the darker colors didn't work for me. I think next time it would be better to start with the darker shade and then build up to the lighter transitions, just because this is a pressed pigment palette. That technique works a little bit better. But now I will take a little bit of my NYX glitter glue to prep my eyelids for the shimmers. This will help grab the shimmers a bit better, make them more pigmented, and you will have less fallout. So I first went in with this red shimmer rusty shade from the palette, and this shimmer was beautiful. It was a little bit crumbly on the palette, but because I used that glitter glue, I wasn't having barely like any fallout on my skin. And then I like to take my fluffy brush and just blend out the edges of that shimmer so it looks really nice and soft. And then I decided I wanted to use another shimmer color, and I chose this really beautiful yellow gold shade, and I just applied that with a flat brush in the inner corner. And again, I blended out the edges of those shimmer shades and tried to make the transition just a little bit darker. So I felt like I was missing something with this look, so I decided to go with eyeliner. This one is from Anastasia Beverly Hills again, but this is where I started making mistakes. Well, it wasn't really a mistake, but this wing really went out of hand. It turned out so big and I was struggling so much. But once you start, you just really have to finish it, because otherwise you have to remove the whole look. And this was my fourth look of the day and I really had no patience left. I was so tired. So I just made that wing bigger and bigger and bigger until I thought, well, there's no more going back. But I just use again a little painter's brush, because these are super skinny and flexible, and I feel like they make applying a winged liner just a little bit easier. If you have a favorite gel eyeliner, please let me know in the comments, because I would really love to know. And by the magic of editing, I am ready with the other eye and we can move on to the skin. I am using a gel moisturizer. I don't really know what this is called. It's just a little sample that I found on my vanity, and I really liked it. It really prepped my skin and it was very hydrating. I'm using my favorite NYX foundation. This is an amazing foundation, and I'm just dotting that on my skin, and I am gonna blend that out with a brush. This is a Peaches and Cream PC16 brush, and I really enjoy this to blend out my foundation. These brushes are new to my collection, so I hadn't tried them out yet for foundation, so I really like that. And I felt like I needed a little bit more coverage, and so I applied a little bit more on my brush and blended that out on my skin. If you're looking for a really lightweight foundation that has like a light to medium coverage and feels really nice on the skin, I really recommend this one from NYX. It has a beautiful glow and they have a bunch of shades, so it will be really easy to find your right match. For a little bit of cream bronzer, I am using my Huda Beauty bronzer. This is my favorite cream bronzer. It looks a little bit orange and warm on camera, but it's really beautiful and it blends out really easy. I first like to apply that where I want it, and then I like to blend that out. And the brush I'm using is again another Peaches and Cream brush, and this one is the PC21 brush. This really worked really nice to blend out this cream bronzer. And I like to go back and forth with my bronzer brush and my foundation brush just to blend out the edges and make it look really seamless on the skin. For concealer, I am trying a new concealer out today. Well, it's new to me, but it's been out a little while. It's the Born to Glow concealer from NYX. It's the corresponding concealer to the foundation that I use. And I was a little bit scared because this concealer looked really light. I don't like to use a super light concealer under my eyes. I blended that out with a fluffy brush, and it actually blended out really nicely. It looked really beautiful and seamless. it didn't even look like I had concealer on my skin. So I really did enjoy that, but it was a little bit light for my liking. And I took a flatter, tinier brush to blend out the inner corner of my eye, just so I have a little bit more precision. And that really wasn't working for me either, so I took a beauty blender and I blended that out with a beauty blender, and again the edges with the brush. I do a lot of back and forth with my brushes just so I get the perfect application, and everything really does look seamless. I know I keep saying that a lot, but you really need to go back and forth with your tools. So I wasn't really happy with the coverage, so I decided to take a little bit of a darker concealer under my eyes. This one is from Too Faced, and that actually turned out really well. I really like that. For my favorite step of my makeup, it's cream blush time. I'm using this one from Smashbox, and it's a orangey coral shade. I thought that would look really well with the eyes, so I did that. And then I decided to powder. I'm using my Nabla powder. This is also one of my favorite powders ever. You'll see how smooth that makes. But first I want to blend out any creases that I have. And with the sponge, I like to press that powder onto my skin. It looks really aggressive on the video, but try to be delicate because it's your under eyes and that's a very thin area of skin. But yeah, as you can see, that made my skin super smooth. I love this powder so much, and I keep pressing that everywhere where I crease and get greasy and I have big pores. And then with a fluffy brush, I try to swipe away any excess powder that I might have on the skin. And for bronzer, again, favorite product. This one is Nars Laguna. And with another fluffy brush, I like to apply that on my cheeks and a little bit on my forehead. Not too much on my forehead because I have a small forehead and I don't want to make it even smaller by applying a lot of bronzer. And for my blush, I'm using this one from Morphe. I do like to intensify the cream blush with a powder blush. This will also really help make your blush stay a lot longer on your skin. Also, please let me know if you like these type of voiceover tutorials. Whenever I watch YouTube, I don't mind it. I like talk through tutorials and I like voiceovers, but I would really like to know what you enjoy so I can make sure to make that. And I'm smoking out the lower lash line, nothing fancy here, just with one color and a fluffy brush, and doing a little bit of that gold in the inner corner. And I applied some lashes off camera. This is the look so far, really pretty. For a little bit of highlighter, I'm using my Embrace highlighter, which is broken. This is the most beautiful highlighter ever. I love it. I don't like to wear a lot of highlighter, but whenever I wear this highlighter, I want to wear a highlighter all the time, just because it's so beautiful. And I do that a little bit on my nose as well. I am setting my skin with this Morphe setting spray, which has also become one of my favorites. I love it. And this is really going to help my makeup last. Not that that matters because I took this makeup off immediately and I went to bed. So yeah, that's that. For my lips, I am using a really light nude lip liner. I have no idea what brand this is. It has no name on it. But I thought that this would look really pretty with the eye look. I mean, you could easily do a dark red lip and that would be amazing. And I'm topping that off with this Nars gloss to really finish off the look. And I think that looked really, really pretty. Really soft, but also very glam. And that is going to be pretty much it for this look. That is the final look. I really hope you enjoyed this look. I love how this turned out. It's so pretty. The eyes are really, really nice. Let me know what your thoughts are on this look. And thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, follow me on socials. And I will see you next time. Bye.